Hello and welcome. Now I'd like to talk about my so-called cheap Casio collection, which is this one here. Obviously this is a Timex. This is an exception, but it's just inside this watch case. But all the other are Casio. This is an edifice. But these ones are really these cheap Casios. Okay, let's talk about them one by one. Actually, I don't really wear any of these watches. I wear some of them sometimes, but I just like having them, you know. So this is the calculator watch, and I think this exact model or some very similar model was worn by Marty McFly in Back to the Future. So that's why this watch is kind of famous. And I never wear it, but it just looks so nice, so cool, so retro. Like this yellow WR here and all this number pad here. It looks just great. It doesn't have a backlight. It only displays the weekday. Otherwise you have to press one of the buttons here to see the date. Yeah. And it's got the calculator. And the nice thing is it's very easy to press these buttons. So it's actually useful as a calculator. What else does it have? Alarm, dual time, stopwatch. What's the model number? I don't know. Yeah, okay. So the next one is this one, the data bank watch. And this one has a backlight, and it's got a very nice big display. That's what I like about it. And it's got quite a lot more functions. For example, the data bank, which I never use, but I think it could be useful even in today's world, because if you want to store some kind of sensitive information which is numeric and you want to hide it, you could store it on this watch, because who would look for any information on a watch like this in this day and age? I don't think anybody. So you could hide information on this watch, really, I think, at least. What else do we have here? The calculator. Okay, so these buttons are actually quite hard to press. So I don't think that the calculator is actually useful on this watch. It's functional, but because of the buttons, I don't think it's useful. Okay, what else? What else? Data bank, calculator, alarms. It's got some very complicated or very alarms with a lot of functionality. So stopwatch. Dual time. So what I like about it, it's got a very nice big display with a lot of information. Obviously displaying the year is unnecessary, because if you forget the year, you know you have a problem anyways. So, but it's got an auto backlight feature, I think. Yeah, auto backlight. It's got the mute function, which is nice. A lot of these cheap Casios, you know, when you press the button they beep, and I don't like it, and you cannot turn it off. On this one you can turn it off, and this one also doesn't beep. Okay, next up is this one. Sometimes I do wear it, because this is the Royale, by the way. I really like the world map here. It just looks so nice. This is the AE 1200. Very nice bracelet. I like this watch. Really, sometimes I do wear it. It's so cool. Okay, the other one is actually my favorite of all. So this is my favorite of all of these cheap Casios. Okay, G-Shocks are another. They are their own thing. But now I'm only talking about these cheap Casios. And this is my favorite. This is the A500. And I love the word map here, this blue word map, the yellow text here, and it's so light, so small, so sleek. It's beautiful. This sometimes I also wear this one, but this is my absolute favorite of all of my cheap Casios. Okay, this is the A3000, which is just cool because the globe here is very nice. It displays 3 time zones, but it's unwearable. It's so big, it's unwearable. Oh, by the way, the backlight on this one, nice backlight. The backlight on the Royale, it's also nice. Yeah, but this AE3000 is just unwearable, so I use it as a desk clock because you see the digits are quite big. It's got a pretty globe, it's got 2 extra time zones, it's got all the usual stuff, you know, alarm, stopwatch, timer, so it's a perfect desk clock or bedside clock, whatever. But I never use it as a wristwatch. It's always sitting on my desk because it's just useful, like a desk clock for me. Okay. Next up is the very famous F91. I never use it. I never wear it. But this got the, where is the back, which one is the backlight? The backlight is, actually the backlight is weak, but I actually wore this watch for the night, well, some time ago, you know, because I wanted to test the backlight. And during the night, when it's really dark, the backlight is good enough, so you can really see the time using this backlight, you know, in real darkness. So the backlight is usable, it's functional. It's weak, but it works. Okay, the other one, this is the actually I look up the model number of this one. This is the yeah, 159. And the reason I have it is because it's actually like the one of the metal versions of the F91. So it's got the same functionality, the same crappy backlight, which is usable, which is actually usable, but it's made in Japan, or at least it's written on it. So that, I think that's why it's cool. It is a Japan-made watch, according to the case back. So I can imagine wearing this sometimes, actually. So this one here is the what's the number? A168. Yeah, it's like it has the same functions as these, but it's got a very nice backlight, the best backlight of all. And it's also got, I guess, some better water resistance. You know, all of these are just water resist, but it's more bulky. It's bulkier, so maybe it's got a better water resistance. I guess it's also bulkier because of the better backlight, but whatever. So this one here is a bit bigger than the other ones, and a bit thicker. But out of these three, I think the most practically usable is this one here. This one, because of the backlight. And I also like these bracelets, these kinds of bracelets. The A500 also has a very similar bracelet. You see, I think it's exactly the same. It looks like that. And I really like this bracelet. Okay, so these are very similar watches, and the best one is this one, obviously, because of the backlight. But I really also like, oh wait a moment, the colors of this one. It's just so colorful. pretty, very pretty. Okay, let's keep on going. This one here, the B, what's the model number? B600, what is it? Yeah, B650. And it's also got the same functions as these three. Exactly the same functions. But the backlight is awesome. You see, only the digits light up. And even though it's a positive display, it's got this cool backlight, because you see this kind of backlight mostly you see on negative displays, and I cannot stand negative displays, except the G-Shock GD350. The G-Shock GD350 has a very good negative display, the only one I can stand, but otherwise I can only stand positive displays, as you can see. So these watches here, they have the same functions, and they beep when you press the buttons. You cannot turn it off, which is, I think, sucks. It sucks that it can always beeps and I cannot turn it off. I don't like it, but you know, it is what it is. And the backlight is just awesome on this one. So this is very nice. Actually, I have worn it quite a lot of times for the night because of the backlight. It's just so cool, so nice. You know, it's not lighting up, only the digits light up. So it's a very low light backlight, if you know what I mean. Because here the entire display lights up, and also even here the entire display lights up. You see, but with this one only the digits. So that's why it's the best night watch, I think. Okay. Let's talk about the edifice now. This is the model, whatever, you can see it, and this was my first so-called real watch. I bought it maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, no idea, 6 years ago, I don't know, many years ago. I bought it for 50 or 60 euros from Amazon, and it's amazing. It's got solid end links, you see, solid end links, solid links, 100 meters water resistance, and for between 50 and 60 euros. Solid end links and solid links. Those times were better. Today, in these years, you know, Casio and every other company is just cutting costs everywhere. Cutting corners, cutting costs. But this one is from a different time. This very cheap edifice has solid end links and solid links. Not folded, not, you know, solid. Amazing, fantastic. And it's also very beautiful. So, in the beginning, when I got it, this was my only watch for, I think, 2 years, maybe 3 years. So, I had been wearing it for years, because this was my only watch, and it's got some scratches, because obviously this mineral crystal isn't scratch resistant at all. But I like the red accents. I like that it has 12 and 6. Here it's got the date, beautiful red accents. The texture of the dial is really beautiful. This subtle waffle texture, something like this, you know. It's a beautiful watch. Yeah, and it's screw down case back. You see, it's a screw in case back. It's not this cheap one that you have to like peer open, or it's a screw in case back. That's why this watch is amazing. For that money, between 50-60 euros, you don't get a watch like this today. Even 100 euro edifices for 100 or maybe 150 euros, they come with hollow end links, maybe hollow link, maybe folded links, and this other kind of case back which is not screw in, you know, the cheaper kind. But this one is screw in case back. Yeah, it's a fantastic watch. Okay, and let's lastly talk about the Timex. I know it's not Casio, but it's in the watch case, so I feel like I should talk about it. It's a very nice field watch, and I like this Indiglow backlight is fantastic. That's the reason why I have it actually. But it ticks very loudly, very loud. So that's the only negative about this, the loud ticking. Otherwise, the backlight is awesome. It's pretty. It's a fantastic quartz field watch. Okay, yeah, that's all. That's about it. Again, my absolute favorite of these is the A500. The second favorite is the Royale AE1200. Okay, yeah, and the perfect night watch because of the awesome backlight. Yeah, but you really need darkness to appreciate it. Okay, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.